Moo and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pinktron. I am Brent Robinson, and I'm joined today by, let's go with Steph Etchen. Steph, what are you drinking?
Found a lemon as always.
Perfect. All right, we also have Steve Pritchard. Steve, what are you drinking?
I'm on a Clearhead alcohol-free IPA from the Bristol Beer Factory. So nice local beer.
Excellent, excellent. And we already got a preview, but let's hear it. Let's go. John Keenan. John, what are you drinking?
So I've just returned from the epicenter of mushroom-based drinks. I went to a coffee shop in the hip neighborhood and up the hill from downtown Seattle. And I'm gonna put a whole series of photos in the chat, but they make coffee with mushrooms and other drinks with mushrooms in it. It was not a little insane. It was insane. So I just finished a brainwash latte and I bought an extra one for later. So it's
And what's the review on that?
I liked it a lot. I thought it was very it had a lot of like I don't know, Bernie notes, I guess. And my wife thought it tasted more chocolatey. There's sort of a chocolatey hint there, but it was like a really dark roast and then other sort of
I
weird
think
because
we'll
it's
call that
got right
smoky, maybe. Smoky.
smoky, lion's mane, cordyceps, reishi, and chaga were all thrown in there for washing your brain, evidently.
Good.
Yeah,
Well, I
Wonderground for anyone in the local area, our two local Seattle listeners.
cool. All right. And Sean Fogenberg is with us. Sean, what are you drinking?
Uh, Decided to go non-alcoholic today because I'm still sick. Uh,
Mhm.
I'm on a Pomelo pink lemonade kombucha.
That sounds tasty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pablo pink lemonade. Yeah, that's a lot of citrus, but good.
yeah.
That'll help. That'll help if you're not feeling under the weather. That's good. And it is currently minus 23 degrees here in
Mhm.
Alberta, or at least last time I looked at my thermostat. Anyway, I have a big cup of hot
Mhm.
tea.
I was
What's that
gonna I
say?
was gonna ask whether that was Fahrenheit or Celsius, but it's probably not too much different.
It might be the same. I
Close.
I think minus
crossover.
40 is the crossover, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very stinking cold. I know, like, for those of us who aren't on the podcast, we heard the Pink Toronto chat. I'm actually supposed to curl outdoors in this evening, so we'll see how that all goes. But
Well, Sean, speaking of places you wouldn't want to go curling, how about the volcano, which we passed in this week's winter racing?
Nice. Nice. Oh, I think he broke Brent. Oh no.
I can't even. Yes, Herdwood Racing this week is on the triple twist route. Did we have anyone race? Do you race one?
Steve did.
Steve did. All right, Steve. How did race one go? Oh yeah, you said you did.
Well, yeah, I was saying in the preamble, I kind of misread the course route. So I thought I was going up Jarvis forward and Hilly forward. So was it came in for a bit of a shot, doing Jarvis reverse for the first time, which having done like Jarvis for the first time in the Omnium and Jarvis reverse for the first time tonight, I can't tell you which way I think is harder. But yeah, it was particularly spicy. I'm pretty sure the chaps at the front held 5 to 6 watts per kilogram all the way up to the top of the climb out of the marina start pens. I had kind of naively thought that, you know what, it's not that far to there. I could probably hold them to the base of Jarvis. No, no. There was that group had gone by the top of that. So yeah, bit of Jarvis, and then round Hilly Reverse, which I still hate and still think is the worst climb in the game.
Mhm.
And then back round to Jarvis Island. The only thing I can say is you go through so many banners. So I think by the time you get to Jarvis, that's the third power up you've got. Oh, you get a
Yeah.
third power up to go up the climb. There's just so many. So you obviously go through the banner at the marina. You then go through a banner in the volcano. You've got a banner in
The Jarvis Sprint
Jarvis
banner. Yeah.
Sprint.
The
You've then
sprint
got a
banner.
banner. Yeah, so you've got three power ups before you get to the top of the Jarvis com. And that just
Wow.
seems to continue. So there's just like if you've got a power up, just use it.
Hmm.
I think I held on to a feather too long and should have just used it in different places. So yeah, loads of
Yeah.
power ups.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because yeah, indeed you have the KOM, then you have the lab banner on Jarvis. Don't know if that gives a power up, and then you have
Yeah, it
the
does.
Hilly reverse again, and then the Marina again,
Well, yeah,
and
you hit
maybe
Yeah,
the
the
and
volcano
you
again.
go through the volcano and you go through
The sprint
the
volcanoes
sprint.
close to the end, but you're right, John. You hit the sprint. You hit the bridge
You do
sprint.
go
or
through the
WB.
sprint. Yeah. Um, so yeah, bike choice is an interesting one that I was quite looking forward to discussing with you folks tonight because I think there is if you were doing a time trial, not on a time trial bike, I think you would just go fastest aero. I think to race it, I don't think you want to go fastest aero unless you are super strong on climbs. I think I don't know. There's some in me. I was like, I race with Catherine D, who's just stronger than me on the climbs, and I'm thinking, well, do I actually want a bike that helps me keep up with the person in front of me? And actually, if I have to work fractionally harder on the flats, so be it. But it means I can actually stay in a group. Versus, so yeah, is there a kind of I'm going to pick a bike which would be slightly slower in a time trial, but enables me to stay in a group on the climbs?
When did you get dropped?
Oh, really early. Then, but
Before
no, we
Jarvis, before you even got on Jarvis Island.
yeah, I
Yeah.
got dropped on the climb out of the marina. But
Mm.
no, the group I was in formed up kind of going through the volcano the first time, and we like stuck around on Jarvis. Catherine and I dropped Ernst and a couple of others on Hillycon reverse. And then Catherine very kindly started a lead out quite early against the guy who was in the group left with me and her, who I think would have outsprinted me, and he didn't follow her lead out. So I was like, cheers. So um, yeah, I went Pinarello and Zwift 454s. Sorry, Zip 454s.
I think there are many courses that have a different bike choice if you're not thinking you're going to be in the top group. Like if you're bargaining in some second, fourth group of bikes, like, yeah, I think there's a different strategy for what's where do you think you're going to get pinched and spit out?
Well, I think that's probably fair, and that's also why I still think so. The first thing I'd say is I think these climbs are not steep enough to actually be climbers in any event. So I think that's the first thing. Like I think they're still maybe not a full arrow, but I'd definitely be on like Pinarello with 7/8 at the least arrow. I'd put it that way. I think going anything below that in terms of climbiness, you're giving up stuff. And then the other thing, yeah, if you're gonna get dropped on the climbs anyway, and you're in your group, I'd say like you want the full arrow because at the end you're gonna be just sprinting off
Yeah,
against the people you'd be in the group with anyway. So
yeah,
like like it being on like to go hyperbolic here, right? If you took the Athos with um Millies, you're I'm getting probably still dropped by the front group, at least if not on Jarvis, probably still on Hilly KOM. And now
Mm.
I'm on, the slowest possible sprinting bike I could plausibly be on it. I know I could be on Buffalo or whatever, but you know what I mean? In a sprint against guys that I'd probably be racing with anyway. So I might as well have just taken the full arrow, had that, and saved energy the whole rest of the way around too. So I think you want if not your full arrow, like Pinarello with 7/8 would be your climbiest as I'd go down to.
This is the real imponderable for me. So I wouldn't. I'm not saying climbing bike, but I think like it's a Tron versus full aero for me because the Tron's a pretty fast bike, but does climb well. And it's that if I'm using all of my energy on the climbs just to hold a group, and I don't have a sprint left. Like it doesn't matter if I'm on my fastest or slowest sprint bike. I haven't got a
Yeah.
sprint left. But so
Mhm.
is there a bike which means I don't use all my energy on the climbs, which means I've got a sprint. I think John, you were saying like it's that working out what group you can get in. Sean, you've got a
Yeah.
leaf blower. Said, yeah, you need to think about how long you can last with a group.
Yeah,
And I'd
I
say,
yeah,
that's my usual thing in in HWR is I lean toward full arrow to stick with the front group as long as possible because once I've been dropped from that group, usually I can do whatever the pinch points are with that group. It's really about making it into the best split that I can, and doing anything I can. Like this one might be a bit of a a different case because that split might happen on Jarvis, so it might happen during one of the like only couple of uphills. But a lot of the time, like the splits happen just on the flats.
Hmm.
I'm chasing through the volcano.
Yeah.
And in that case, like the split is happening when we're going 50K an hour. Like I want to be on the fastest damn bike I can be on.
Yeah, because depending on your category, because I don't know the previous two HBR races, the first race where me and Brenton won is the group fell apart before we even left Glasgow. So, and I think on last week, me and there were already people getting shelled a kilometer, 2 kilometers, but in the village just after Village Johnson, the group was already splitting up in downhill section. So yeah, it depends how fast that front bunch wants to go and how long you can stick with it.
And I'd say that essentially the Tron is the functional equivalent of the Pinarello with 7.8. They're a half
Yeah,
second difference to the Pinarello's favor, I think, in both directions, give or take. Like it's the same. It's a it's a light aero fast all rounder, right? Like it's just not as far up the aero curve. You know, if you ever look at
Hmm.
that scatter plot from Zwift Insider, it's so obvious that there's basically like a curve, and the max out of like where the sort of pinnacle of arrow and light is somewhere between the Tron and the Pinarello with 7.8s. And then you can go up the curve into more arrow to get to like the Spesh and Felt IA with this on it, or you can go lighter to get to the Millensteins. You can't really get off that curve essentially. And so like if you're trading off a half second to arrow for a half second of lightness to get on the Tron or the Pinarello with 7.8s, fine. Like it's gonna be so if that's what you lose from, you had a really good race.
uh,
Like you're in a half second
This
sprint
is the
scenario.
this is the conclusion I came to, Brent, as well, is that I kind of I want is that working out how deep should I go to hold the group, knowing that at some point I'm going to blow up and be spat out by it. So I think if I'd started like Catherine and Ernst made no attempt to go with the group at the start, and I think if I'd have just ridden steady with them, I'm easily beating them because I'm fresher and slightly stronger on the climbs. But then there's that kind of like, oh, but would I have made a group ahead? And then I've had the flip side. I think Glasgow last week, I think there were groups that caught me after I'd been dropped that really I should have normally I'd have been able to stay with, but I'd gone too deep trying to stay with the
uh,
front group on Glasgow and just went straight through them. So yeah, it's really hard. And that's what makes the series really fun, I think, for all of us, the guys at the front and us that are at the front very briefly.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen people. Yeah, it's interesting in HBR. It depends how you look at the race or how your mentality is. Because when Marjolein posted it, there were some people, I think, lower old D's that were wondering why should I even compete in this race if I'm below a ZRS score of like 200 below because I can't do anything. But yeah, I think it's a bit of a mentality. I know I'm not gonna be anywhere near the front. It just see how, like she said, how long can you hold on to which group you maybe you can hold on without fully blowing up in the process and going backwards.
I will say that there was a group of six in race one, or at least six that were on Zwift Power that were all within a minute or so of each other, uh, 15 minutes behind the winners. So there was still a race at the back. So if
Yeah,
you are somebody who is like trying to figure out why would I race this, there are still, a decent group of riders riding around 2 watts a kilo, that is a bigger group if you show up and you are in that range.
Yeah,
Completely
yeah, and
agree.
yeah, and I joined it because like the last two races I was dropped, but I found groups to stay with and to have a nice race with around my level. So yeah, minutes behind the actual winners, but still could be competitive. Well, didn't help last week that I didn't forgot to switch from my full climbing setup to an arrow setup for wandering flat. But oh well.
I think I went into
But
the
it,
ZRL race 2 weeks ago with the HWR mindset because it was that scratch race where you climbed up the epic part way and then turned off toward the jungle. And
uh,
I was making a commitment to just stay with the front group and I was able to, but I definitely burned a match or two or all of them maybe. And then we were in a group of like maybe 10, 12 people. And there was a big old group of like 30 or 40 behind us. And they just caught us on the downhill. And I felt cheated, completely like angry with myself that I like used up all that energy. And now we're all in the same place anyway. And what am I doing? And then I realized, oh, well, these are all about, I mean, it's a much tighter group, right? In ZRL, people much closer to my power level. So of course that's going to happen. But
For sure.
it was a roller coaster of emotions.
And just in terms of time, just for people who are wondering how long this will take, the winner in race one, scorekeeper was 32 and change, and then back into Steve's group was just like a little over 40 minutes. So that's what you're
for
looking at.
20 for 25 kilometers, that's pretty fast for the winners. But yeah, the front guys are flying.
They are cooking. Yep. I haven't been able to hold the front group to the end of a race yet in HWR part two yet. They are going for it. Last week I was dropped into Yokio and it was like just like there was a break and there was you could tell there was like the steering group and the non-steering group, but that made it like even less for me to stick with. And I just like trying to like find like the draft and like pedal. I'm like, nope, dropped. Damn it. Anyway. All right. HBR this week is on Douce France. This is
Yep.
flat part of France in the Boulogne Fields first direction, right? So you do the intestines and Boulogne
Yeah, intestines.
Fields.
Yeah, intestines first, then halfway you have aqueduct, which is technically a climb, but more for a sprint with a hill in front of it, and then yeah, flat bits and finish at the marina banner.
Good. Yeah. Mostly a stick with the group and win the sprint, watch the aqueduct. That's pretty much the thing.
Yeah,
Best all around most arrow thing you got in your um
yeah, yeah. I
toolkit
think
garage.
yeah, keeping on in the beginning the intestines. See if you don't pay attention there, you have the aqueduct, but you also have a bit of the kicks or a bit of the riser up and down just before the aqueduct in that direction. It goes a bit in a step starry way up to the aqueduct. But yeah,
Yeah, the intestines is one place where I really notice the difference of racing with the little elevation thing that comes up. Like you like usually when I race through there it just felt bumpy, but now you can
Mm.
really see like no, this is the climb, then we're not, then it's a climb, then it's not.
yeah,
Where it's really different there, I think, now that that's in the game compared to before. There's no sort of anticipating and catching someone out. Everybody could see that stupid thing come up and go, "Oh, it's 3% for the next 600 meters."
Mhm.
Anyway. And then the only other herd racing we got going on is the Herd Stampede ITT Challenge remains active. I think all the events now are there. So if you see a Herd Stampede ITT event up, it will be on Island Hopper, about 20K. Looks like the times on the board are around 33 minutes so far. I don't think we've seen any super heavy hitters yet go through, although maybe they haven't uploaded into the league yet. So yeah, get out there, race, just get your best time up. Try and bring a couple friends into an event, but we'll try and catch them all. If you can get a couple friends and you see something that you don't get, and we'll add them all up at the end of February. So, we got 3 more weeks, everybody to go and try and put their best time up on there. And I think that's it for
No,
the week in herd racing.
Uh,
and I see you called the double entries into the companion app that I pointed out. There were like three that were for some reason double events on the same time. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that
what
it
it is.
was just we were communicating with the Zwift organizers. We asked them to set it up, and then they'd set it up in the TT portal. So it's like you'd be coming off um
Ah,
the TT treadmill, and
Treadmill.
but
yeah,
that's gonna number one screw up the times and stuff like that. Plus, you're gonna get shot out of the thing, which is gonna be an advantage to people who, when we set it up, I can't set it up on the TT treadmill. So if I'm setting them up,
yeah,
you're just standing start. So we just said, can you just please make them mass start? But then they didn't get to race right away. But I think it's all cleared up now.
yeah,
um, I will say that with the Climbers Gambit and other similar races going away through the club, the one of the things that I used to like talking about was doing the herd double, um, and it's not quite the ideal timeline for it, but it is still possible to do a herd winter racing and stampede double. Uh, it ends up being like a 3 hour ride, and that actually might be something worth. I mean, it sounds like maybe we're going to talk about some training stuff. That might be a good hard training day, and maybe one of these weekends I give it a shot.
I think there'd be there'd be some 20 plus minute thresholdish efforts in there, I suspect. Good.
Multiple.
All right, that
yeah,
brings us to the news. I think we're gonna start off with Steve's chewing. So we're gonna go with new herd kit. We'll go to
yeah.
new herd kit. If you I suspect everyone listening to this is a member of either herd racing or the herd Facebook group. I don't know if it's been posted in herd racing yet, but go check out in the herd kit and go look because Corey and Primal have come up with new kit. There's sort of a orange and blue reflective camo look going on that is really sharp looking. Like I don't know. I think it's super awesome myself. Everybody's got
I'm
their own taste,
very
but
appreciative of the reflective stuff. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't have a herd. I just recently got a herd from somebody else kit, but I wouldn't ride it in dark blue on streets in the US. Like that just sounds like madness to me. But
yeah,
the
yeah,
reflective, I'll go for. Yeah.
yeah. There's also a hoodie and a t-shirt, which I'm not going to spoil it for those who haven't seen
Mm,
the t-shirt, but the
mm.
t-shirt is pretty baller.
I will be getting the t-shirt.
The last thing I need in my entire life, frankly, is a new t-shirt. I have a drawer full of t-shirts I can barely wear, but man, do I want that t-shirt. I
It
love
is.
it
Yeah.
so much.
I have actually already ordered a t-shirt.
Love it.
We
Love it.
we have decided all of the family members who will be getting birthday presents this year will be getting that t-shirt.
Yep. And I'll just, I mean, listen, I get no kickbacks from Primal, but I got 2 pieces of Primal kit at Christmas, including the green and blue herd bibs. I
Yeah.
can't remember if that's the XO 2.0 or whatever they are. And I find them very comfortable and enjoyable to ride in.
Yeah, they're
No
great.
problems.
Yeah.
So
Super.
I feel
Yeah,
so
but
fast in my
the
pink ones.
the coral, the pink ones, some yeah, it's lovely. The only
I
problem that I have since that that's keeping me off because the new kit looks good is I bought some kit from the herd, but I think because I had to run through I think UK, but I paid for my shipment and everything. I got like the 30% discount, but then running through BPOS, which is our USPS of Belgium. I got an extra on like 100 or 200 euros extra in import taxes. So that was a bit a
Mm.
bit of a surprise. So bit of on the cusp of buying it if something like that happen again.
Uh, Brent, I think I actually have four pairs of the Primal bibs. Love them all. And I think the only reason that I'm unlikely to get these bibs is and this kit is that I already have too many, and I don't need another I don't need another jersey because I don't think I ride outside enough anymore.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would think the primal bibs are some of the best bibs I've got, and I don't know, I've had like a few of us. I've gone through lots of bibs, and when you find a brand, like I currently hunt Amazon for a certain pair of Arley bibs because they're just good. Um, and Arley don't make them anymore, so when you find a pair that work for you, get like definitely get two. I think, but these are
Yeah,
really good.
Or be like Craig and just, wear jeans.
yeah.
I think we're
I've
starting to wear Canadian bare ass
Yeah.
and sandpaper or something, I think. So
Yeah, before the hurt, and I'm still happy with them. It's an Italian band, but just called Bicycle Line. Bought something as, but I have lots of stuff and enjoyed. They have from them to also to cargo bibs. And yeah, so that's my other to go to because there I can pay. It's shipped from Italy, but yeah, 2 to 3 days, and it's above a certain uh, amount. It's free shipping, and since it's within the EU, I don't have to pay import taxes on it. So yeah,
Fair enough.
I
Yeah.
know
Well,
some folks don't like I never liked the bib aesthetic, so I never bought any. So I always had shorts. But when I started doing Zwift inside and I saw, the herd had some on, and so I was like, oh, I'll try these. Bibs are just a giant leap forward in comfort and like everything is so much better. I threw out every one of my pair of shorts. Like I'm not never going to use those ever again. So
oh yeah. Well, when I go
if
mountain
folks
biking,
are
I
on the
just put
fence there,
when I go mountain biking, I put bibs on, then just toss my shorts over top. I don't like mess
yeah,
around with like liners or anything else. Like just put bibs on.
yeah, there's just no reason not to wear bibs. I'm
Yep,
I'm fully in now.
100%. Good. So thanks to Corey and Primal for doing those up. Check them out. And if
yeah,
you need new kit and
but
you're not going to pay import taxes, just go get a pair.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I was about to say it looks a sick design, but yeah, yeah. I don't want to get another surprise of import taxes.
And just for all you kids out there, another word for import taxes is a tariff. So
Yeah.
if you're wondering who pays tariffs, it's the people who buy the stuff. Sorry, that's all the politics we'll do for today. All right. Other news.
Uh,
Steve, were you talking about dirt racing? Oh, all right. We'll go on to in other news. Sean Fogenberg hit level. Hold on. Say it, Sean. You go.
100.
pew pew pew
Pew, pew, pew. Ah.
pew.
DJ noises.
I have no soundboard for all that, so just imagining really cool sound effects coming in that Sean Fogelberg hit 100. Level 100. All right, Sean. What does it
Congrats.
take
Brett
to hit level
Sean.
100 on Zwift? Let's hear all the stats. We want like how long you been Zwifting? Kilometers, hours, pizza slices,
Pizza
races?
slices. That's the main one.
Yeah,
Who cares
yeah.
about?
Yeah, so I think my first Zwift ride was in November of 2018, so 6 and a bit years. Uh, I was just looking at the total time on Zwift is I need to it's 63 days, 15 hours and 40 minutes.
It doesn't sound big enough. I looked at mine and I'm like, that's not right. But then when you work it out in hours, it
Yeah,
sounds right.
That if you multiply it by 24, it becomes a lot of hours,
Yeah.
over 2,400 or something hours. I don't know.
I've definitely still got the leaf blower right outside my window, so
Oh,
apologies.
What's it going with? A minor or maybe A minor flat. I can't quite.
So that 63 days ends up being over 1,500 hours,
Yeah.
1,530 hours, over 6 years, which is like 250 hours a year of Zwifting, um, which has increased in recent years. I think I used to do about 40% of my rides outside. It's probably closer to 20% these days, if that this past year. Um,
And
yeah,
that's
it's
five
just
hours a week on average.
Yeah,
Average 5 hours.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
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 Um, so yeah, 5 hours a week for 6 years, and you too can be level 100.
Hmm.
I think that the speed with which you can do this has sped up a bit with the recent. Yeah, I think it's faster now, but that ends up being 46,831 kilometers, so almost 30,000 miles. 370,000 meters of climbing, which yeah, that's quite a bit. I where is the pizza? How many pizza slices is this? I will say that I have this all in Golden Cheetah as well, so I have the actual calories burned. Oh, I guess it's over here too. We're closing in on 1 million calories burned on Zwift.
Woohoo.
It's around 800,000. So
What were your kilometers again?
which is 2,759 slices of pizza. Uh, which what is that? 400 slices of pizza, 450 slices of pizza a year. Yeah, 46,800 ish kilometers.
So that's
So like
that's
a,
more than the circumference of the Earth.
Is it?
40,000
All
40,000
right.
kilometers is sort of the rough circumference. Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Nice.
excellent. All right.
Yeah.
So all it takes to get to level 100 is to bike around the world.
Bike around the planet at the equator. Yeah.
And I
Cool.
was just looking at I'm at 343 Zwift races, uh, of which I would assume that something like 300 are either Zwift or herd or for the herd in ZRL. So
Nice.
yeah, lots of time. Thanks to you guys, it doesn't feel wasted.
Oh, your health is never wasted. So that's
Yeah,
great.
but yeah, I was explaining it to colleagues at work today, and I explained it to Ada in the past before I got Swift. My if you look at my year graph, it was really a steep curve to the summer and then back down to the winter, and now it's the last 2 years. It's that's a monthly average has basically been around the same. Is more throughout the year. So yeah, it's really helped me to keep my fitness throughout the year through the winter months.
Cool. Well, that's
Pairs of shorts have
cool.
you, that's what I want to know.
What was
Sorry,
that?
say it again, Steve.
How many pairs of shorts have you gone through?
What do you mean by gone through?
Sean must be like me. I don't throw them out. I just
I've
leave them for emergencies.
I think I've thrown away 2 pairs in total. Uh, there are maybe 2 or 3 others that could use that.
Oh yeah.
Could mean worn out, but I mean, tell us about the time where you went through a pair of shorts through too much effort on Zwift shorts.
I is there a story that I'm missing?
I know I've got a pair that I put the 2 pairs that I put holes into, but I haven't thrown them out. I just like they're indoor shorts only. They're close enough.
Those are the ones that get you yelled at by family.
100%. Yep. The one is I ripped the like more like the grippy part down by the thigh, stepping on it, like getting it on. So that's not quite so offensive, but the one is like right in the seam in the butt. My wife just shakes her head every time if I'm like, whatever. I'm like, I don't want to do laundry. Just leave me alone.
Uh, I will say that the maybe the most surprising stat through the 6 years and 100 levels is that and I guess it's less surprising as a 40-year-old human. Uh, Despite the 900 that, well, actually, let's just look at all rides instead of just trainer rides. So in that 6+ years, we are at 1.2 million calories burned, and I am up 12 kilograms.
I thought
Oh,
you're going to give us the total number of rides so we could figure out laundry. Like how many wash cycles is that?
oh. Well, if you think it's 5 hours a week is probably three or four, that's well, at
Yeah, you
least
could
one a
probably
week.
at least one a week of kit. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it may only be $15 a month for Zwift, but how much accumulated money have I spent on bike maintenance and energy and water for and
Oh, yeah.
like laundry detergent?
I'm
Yeah.
on my third trainer in 5 years.
Those
Like
million calories had to come from somewhere.
yep, yeah, that too. Good. Well, congratulations. I think, all right, so I think I'm probably in line to be next. I'm
Yeah, what are you
almost
at
89.
90? Oh,
I'm 88
89.
and change. I'm like probably 90% of the way to 89. How about you
Uh,
guys?
I'm getting up
I'm
there. I'm in the 80s. What am I?
halfway 60, level 65 at the moment.
Right. So it's
83.
83 for John. You might catch me if I don't get going.
I,
Um,
I think I need to so I think one of the things that you get for swag at level 100 is the confetti socks.
Yeah.
So I think it's time to start blowing everybody up with confetti all
The,
over Zwift.
yeah, the ride-ons confetti, there was something special.
they've been getting
Don't
it
you
for a
get
few
like
weeks from me.
you get double sweat drops when you get confetti bombed? I think I heard something. Somebody on a group ride was saying this. So
Love that.
yeah.
You get a you get like a drop bonus when you get a ride on too, so that makes sense.
Yeah. It's like a super drop bonus.
What about you, Steve? What level are you at? Are you getting close-ish?
Um, yeah, 60 something, I think.
Okay. All right. You still got a little ways to go.
Closing in
That's good.
on 3 million on drops I can't spend because they still need to announce the bike upgrade.
I
Oh
think
yeah.
I'm close to like 30 million
I was
drops that
gonna
I can't
say
use.
I'm not quite 25 million, but yeah.
Oh, I must be a big spender. I'm only like at 11 million. All right. Steve, you wanted to talk about outside the herd racing series, in particular, a dirt one that we might encourage other herd racers to get into.
Yeah, Dirt Racing Series is back. So last year they did this, I believe, on a Tuesday. And it's very similar to the Zwift Racing Series, except they use the Velo Metals category instead of the Zwift categories. So there's more categories. It's broader. Oh, sorry, it's not as broad as the categories that Zwift uses. So the racing is a lot closer. So yeah, I really liked it. Last time we did it, they took a bit of a step back because it's kind of community organized. It's quite a lot of work. These guys aren't paid. But yeah, really good series. They they try and make sure that everyone can contribute on the team, which I really, really like about the racing. And I say it was in the metals category, so it's actually a lot closer. I think the observation I'd have about Swift Racing League is that the categories being so broad, even with the kind of league structure, you're still going to end up with people in lower leagues that are at the top of the category. So we'll shoot off the front and make it a really fast race. So if you're in the middle of the category, even being lower down leagues doesn't mean you'll be towards the front of a race. Whereas in the metals categories being narrower, more chance of being in front of the race. So yeah, cracking series. They've moved it to Wednesday. Not much racing happens on Wednesdays at the moment. So yeah, go check it out. There's a few of us doing a silver team. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
So
Good.
Steve, is it organized like ZRL with a team? You get in, you get six riders on the team for that race kind of thing?
I think I can't remember how it works now. I think there was some rule that basically everyone could ride. So I think
Oh,
in Z you can only have six. And I think one of the big differences is you can have as many as you like, but I think it's only the top six count or something like that. Or
Oh,
they
Yeah,
that's
had some
nice.
made it a bit more inclusive. So yeah, but they basically got five slots, two EMEA ones, one Atlantic US, and two Eastern and Western US. So that's I'm confused by US time zones. So yeah, three aimed at the US, two aimed at Europe. So yeah, really good. Go check it out. Um,
Does it,
good
And you're
series.
so
I
does
I
it,
did
do you have to be
radio.
signed up with a team?
I believe so. Yeah, you're asking
Okay.
me questions I don't know the answer for. At the moment. But yeah, it's. I think you have to be signed up before the 5th of March, which is when it's kicking off. And I think you do have to have a squad together, but I don't know if there's a minimum squad size, so you could just race as yourself. More on their, I think it's dirtracingseries.com, more on their website. I am not looking forward to stage four, which is Radio Rendezvous, but I've just noticed there's a custom finish at 18.7 kilometers, so I think that's at the top of Epic after you've done the grade, not
yeah,
doing.
yeah. I was looking at it. I was looking at it because I've been recruited by Steve to doing the. I haven't been doing ZRL this past series because I was a low C, so it wasn't really fun. So might give the medals a go. But yeah, that rendezvous point, it's either just after the grade or somewhere before the epic KOM ban. There's somewhere in there, but that's going to be gnarly.
and the races are single medal, like so you're racing silver or you're racing gold. You're not seeing the other medals in your race. Okay.
No,
Sounds like a fun race.
I think dirt are good race organizers, and it's fun. So yeah, if you can get a group together, or if you're in the group that Steve's level's at, get in there and we encourage herd riders to ride together, especially in these other events, and get out there and support other groups that are doing good event organizing on
Yeah,
Zwift as well.
yeah, I think it's probably indeed two EMEA slots, West and East Coast for US, and I think the Atlantic US is aimed probably at Australia, that's Oceania. So I don't know what 545 EST EDT. What number that is, but
Yeah, this is interesting. I might look at trying to recruit or find whether there's an Americas team uh, in the platinum band. Would be fun.
it's West Coast is 6:30 p.m. PST, and East Coast is 7:30 EST. So those are the slots for US.
It's usually something like that in ZRL and all of the yeah.
I mean,
Probably try and do Eastern.
any racing series that's brave enough to put Radio Rendezvous in there, they've got my interest.
Yeah, and they also have a couple of the new ones. I think on the schedule they have Petit Touleur, they have Scotland Smash, which is still need to be announced.
Hmm.
Queen's Highway Way After Party that's can come up. But that's some interesting courses looking at it.
Yeah, those ones will all be well, I don't know how announced this is, but those ones that are like out there but not available are all, I'm pretty sure, Zwift Games routes that they're not going to let the public have till after they've been in the Zwift Games. So
Okay.
Yeah,
that's what's those
yeah,
are.
that Scotland Smash is the last one, April 9th. So probably by then we have Swift Games or another series by Swift that's done. Then yeah,
Yeah, because James has told people the dates that they will become available for public events
yeah,
in the Zwift
yeah.
Team
We were
Managers
questioning.
Facebook page.
Yeah, when we were doing the preview for this series, you were asking Petit Douleur which got released last week with Tour de Zwift, the climbing stages. So yeah,
And I did I did Vental or Lorraine, and I had a good Lorraine. I was feeling pretty good, but then in between Lorraine and doing the next one, I did like a strength workout, and I did something to my hip flexor, and then I went and did Lucher the next day after that, and that was the most longest
yeah.
torturous Lucher I've ever done. I think
Hmm.
I averaged like 200 watts and like 230 or 40 on the climbs, and every single pedal stroke just felt like I want to get off this bike right now.
It
Anyway,
for me was a good workout. I did Lucha, I think, day after. I did that brutal combo of first Lorraine and then Petit Douleur, but that Lucha one was a good 2 by 30
yeah.
was called sweet spot training.
Good. All right. And for our around the horn final topic, John, you had some questions about training. You're get us each to give you some tips on training.
Yeah, tips on training. I feel like I am on a journey, as I suppose many Swift riders are on, where I started racing. That was fun. It was new. It was a learning experience. I was setting new PRs and I was growing and it was really fun. Now I'm at like 250 something races in. I'm still learning stuff, but I feel like I've gotten to this place where at least recently, so over the holiday break, I did the Rafa 500, where I feel like, oh, that really gave me a little boost to my sort of long-term fitness. That was good. Went into the Omnium, really excited about it. Made some silly mistakes in a couple of the races, but otherwise I did really well and was super happy with uh, how I did. And then since then, it's been this slow decay, uh, or probably a little faster than just aging decay, but a decay where I can see my velo score just stair step down for 3 or 4 races and stair step down for 3 or 4 races. So something's going on, and I can definitely feel that sort of fatigue in my legs. The team time trial for ZRL last week was I it was definitely that feeling of halfway in, like, am I going to be the one to drop on this, or am I going to be able to hang on? And it was a
Love that
toss of a
feeling.
coin. Yeah, I love that feeling, man. It was a toss of a coin. I made it to the end, but I was definitely number four in the bunch. So, I, what do people do when I mean, I feel like I'm coming into it fairly fit. I'm doing some strength work, I'm doing running, I'm biking, but I'm feeling a fatigue, and I don't know if that just means I need to rest more, or I have a gut reaction to be like, oh, if I rest, I'm going to lose fitness, right? So
So
that's the prologue.
I think that the number one piece of advice here is it is so easy to have that anxiety that like if I am not putting in work, then I'm not getting faster, right?
Yeah.
Like the make hay while the sun's shining. Like I'm feeling fit, so I like gotta throw more coal on the fire. And you know,
Mm-hmm.
maybe some more mixed metaphors here. Um, but so to actually get faster, uh, you get faster when you're not on the bike, right? So uh, the way that this works physiologically is you need to give yourself an impulse of some sort of strain that is a bit above what your body expects you to be able to do, which actually makes you slower in the short term, and then
Mm.
you your body overcompensates for it
Okay.
both in the short term, so like workout to workout. So you might do a hard workout and then for the next day or two you're actually a little slower, and then it takes maybe 3 days to get back up to a little above where you were. That works in the short term and in the long term. So uh, I am pretty religious about this. To every 3 or 4 weeks, I am taking a recovery week.
An
Um,
entire week. What does that look like?
So it is no intensity. So it's not off the
Okay.
bike.
Okay.
It is I am doing nothing above zone two.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it
probably.
is 70% as much hours wise, with no intensity.
No racing,
No
no
racing, no
workout.
workouts, just zone two rides to clear the legs. That feeling that you're feeling, that's the one that's like I am in dire need of a recovery week
Yeah.
because that feeling is your body telling you like I've gone over
Mm.
and I'm ready to super compensate and get faster. And so
Just
during that
like, give me
recovery
a
week,
minute. Hold on,
yeah,
give me a minute. Okay.
and during that recovery week, like you're still on the bike, you're spinning out the legs, and often you feel worse during the recovery week than you do during training. Like
Oh,
all of those sweet, sweet endorphins that are just in your legs all the time, and you just got the dull ache becomes like actually a pretty bad at times where it's like day
like,
four of recovery week. It's like this sucks.
yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Stretching?
stretching and being really good about your nutrition during those recovery weeks because that's when you're getting faster. Like
Okay.
sleeping well, eating well,
Yeah.
like all of those things during your recovery week is how you overcome that feeling.
I think I
Yeah,
have
I,
been a little mushroom deficit here the last few weeks too, so I'm sure that has something to do with it.
Uh, but I really liked it because I've heard it before, but I'm trying to also include it in my weeks to have like a proper active recovery ride, like a actual zone one, not doing anything above it, because you tend to go above, but seeing you do it like doing with 1.1, I think it's Bernie
Yep.
pace partners.
I even sometimes ride with Taylor, the lowest one.
Taylor is it?
Just
Yeah,
like
it's Taylor. Taylor.
it's like going for a walk on your bike.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
right. You can actually type on your phone and
Oh,
do whatever you
yeah,
want.
you could
Set
you
up.
you could play trombone like
yeah. Yeah,
So,
you have to. You sometimes really have to pay attention that you don't over. You start speeding up and going over it because it's really.
so I want to hear from everybody else, and I know Steve, you had something to say, but let me clarify something you said, Sean. So you're going every 3 or 4 weeks, you plug in one of those
I usually try to
recovery
do
weeks.
I usually try to do 3 weeks on, 1 week off.
Okay.
Mm,
That's way more than I would have anticipated.
But the and this is part of that is that you need to then like for that to work so that is just great advice generally, but you do need to for that to work the best, you need to actually stack those on weeks a little harder than you can if you're just going
Sort of
like
a sustainable,
sustained.
continuous. Yeah.
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 With, I mean, 2 to 3 hard days, but those hard days need to be beyond what
It's not
hard.
just an HWR race and then go for a run the next day.
It can be, but it can be HWR race plus maybe doing another interval after that race,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
making it a 2 hour ride or something
Okay.
like that.
it's not much intensity, although I do it, but I notice it when I'm back going, and it's better doing like my 4 or 5 hour. There are usually low endurance or even zone one, but you can feel just the time spent. It's not as intense in in short efforts, but the bulk of it you do notice it as well. That's because those rides can easily go up to to per hour it's not much, but on the load it can be sometimes 300 TSS for a 5 hour ride or something like that. it's not that big per hour, but yeah, you can feel it definitely the day after, the few days after. So
Yeah, I think that is actually another good one is getting regular long endurance rides, just low and
Yeah,
slow.
yeah, I think I'll have a little more time for
I
that.
call them barbecue rides, right? Like low and
Hmm.
slow.
It's like you're riding with your friends and their kids, and yeah,
yeah, yeah, I have the advantage because well, Belgium is pretty well, cycling culture. Or I have, like I explained, I can, if I plan it right, I can have sometimes the majority of rides. If I want to on flat routes, I can do it mostly auto free lanes or something like that. So yeah, for me it's put on rides, put on a podcast or audiobook, and just chug the miles or the kilometers in my respect. But yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't do
I
any of
try
that
to
stuff.
do it. I don't do it. I start doing it more often. Try to do also doing that a week off, but usually end up with all the racing going on. If you go for like a GC, end up doing a race anyways. But yeah,
Uh,
it's hard to have an actual proper recovery week if you're into Swift or Swift racing.
hmm.
Yeah, and so yeah, I like listen. I'm saying I don't do any of this stuff, and you absolutely should. This is all very, very good advice, especially
Right.
about like getting actual training and actually getting faster. My philosophy on this is if like especially if you were like especially for you, John, like you're training for like a triathlon and stuff, and you
Yeah.
should really be doing a bit more of that like periodization to like work up to like that event and sort of training for that event. You can work in one, maybe two races as part of that plan. But like
Hmm.
really, if you're trying to get stronger, racing all the time is actually super inefficient at that,
Yeah,
especially once you get to like that plateau. Like you talked about how
Yeah.
you've like you got a bit stronger, and that's just like, okay, I started doing a bit more harder riding. But once
Yeah.
you like get to the point of, okay, if I do four 40 to an hour minute, 40-minute to an hour races a week, this is as good as I get. And that's
Mhm.
kind of where I'm at. I'm like especially since I can't friggin' lose weight, which we'll talk maybe on some trigger warning podcast another time. But um, like that's where I've hit my stasis on that, right? Like that's what I've been doing. It's what I do. That's where I'm at, is that's where I'll get to basically, is I can do like a 300-ish watt, 320 maybe FTP on a good day. And that's where I'm sitting. And that's okay to me right now because I don't have a like a thing that I'm specifically training for. And for me, it's just like a general fitness. It keeps me engaged. It keeps me doing something. Started picking up some strength workout stuff that I'm not quite sure if it's working or not yet, but um,
Yeah.
it's only been 5 weeks, so lots of time to test yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially in the course of also doing like 3 or 4 races a week. So
That might be
um,
another good future podcast point is like, what does strength training look like
yeah,
as
and I'm
Swift
sure
racers? Because I feel like there's categories of stuff to train for races and stuff to train because you're a racer and to train other stuff. Like, those would be fun.
and also I'm doing it for like a little bit of like lacrosse and general fitness stuff, so it's certainly
Yeah.
non-optimized for bike riding. Like I'm sure 90% of the weight training I'm doing, I would not be doing as a bike rider. Like I don't, bike riders don't
Mhm.
care how many pull-ups they can do.
Yeah.
And I'm
Right.
trying to
Right.
get that. So I'm sure I'm putting on weight in my upper body that they would be like, "You're crazy. Why are you doing that if you're trying to
Hmm.
win the Tour de France?" So,
Yep.
um, so listen, I guess my advice is these guys are all giving you good advice and you should follow it. But for everyone else who maybe like, listen, if you're staying active and doing 5 to 7 hours of Zwift a week and it's fun for you, don't get so worked up about whatever. Like if you're feeling tired and run down, then you need to like, and you're getting health problems, you probably need to take some breaks. But if you're staying steady state, but you're still enjoying it, you're having fun, you're chatting with peeps, like like I don't know how everyone else engages in Zwift, but I know we all in this podcast, like we have this podcast. I know we're all in a bunch of group chats. We run our mouths and stuff with people we bike with. We talk to people and stuff, and so it stays social, it stays fun, it stays new and engaging. And if you're doing that, that's fine. That's fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't have to be getting stronger every week. And likely, if you've been doing, I'm at 800 races since uh 2020, May of 2020. So we're pushing almost 5 years here. So like 40, so I can't really do that math quick. 40 races a week ish, right?
40
50
races
times
a
40
week.
or a
Wow.
year, pardon me. What? A year. I meant, that's a lot. And I don't do a lot of like tiny races.
Right.
So this is pretty legit. So anyway,
Yeah,
that would be my tip is don't like your training, you want to get your thing in, do your training stuff
Yeah.
and focus on that. But like for if that's not what you're in for, if you're just here to like get your heart rate up and stay engaged and stay fit, that's okay too.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being a beer league racer.
No, not at all. And I don't have aspirations, set other than I'd like to be upright and a vital human being for a few more years. So um, I'm more reacting to oh, all of a sudden this doesn't feel good,
Yeah.
which
yeah, and it
is really
sometimes you
telling
have
me
to.
what. Yeah, go ahead, Steph.
Yeah, I had like a pretty good high last end of last summer after my cycling holidays. Had a bit of a dip the last few weeks, so the velo was dropping again, and feeling and sometimes you have to distance yourself from it. Your velo is going down, but like the last few HWRs were good. The ladder race, and for whatever reason, I just was climbing and I just hit a wall at a certain point in the race, and my race was over. For yeah, sometimes it's yeah,
Yeah, I like to think it wasn't that my velo was dropping was hurting my ego, but I saw it and
yeah,
just that feeling of like, oh, I'm not doing something right here. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That feeling as well a bit because my velo was dropping, but I just at a certain period I just didn't have the was feeling I can't push myself. I don't have the sustained power. Eventually, it's starting to build up again. But yeah, sometimes you the dip or whatever, and yeah. But I think it's also maybe I haven't been on. Yeah, the weather is pretty good, but I didn't have my auto bike for a while now. So yeah, kind of missing those. Like I said, for me, those weekend endurance, even though they're hard mentally or long rides, they do help with my overall fitness. So might be just that I'm missing just the outdoor kilometers. No, who knows?
I think the one tip that I give you that the guys haven't mentioned so far is just ignore velo.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, have to do it.
I would say that velo and ZRS are measures of how well you did in that particular race against the other people in that race.
Yeah.
So you could race really well and still lose velo because other people just happened to race better than you, or the field wasn't the right
The
quality,
field
or
was
things.
different.
Or
Yeah.
or you actually just said about I think sometimes I have to stop doing myself because uh, since I'm a ladder captain and fallen off the spread of the squirrels and start sometimes panicking. Oh, maybe I won't make it, but yeah, even stepping down a team or taking a break, like I've been now captain of the squirrels for over a year, and yeah, maybe it's just time to do something else. What my current philo is now saying. Yeah,
And
So
it's
yeah, I
good
is
think
it?
timing. I am very attracted to the idea of like a longer zone two workout to just sort of work through
Yeah,
some of that. I mean, that has some real appeal to me just to right get the headspace cleared out from all the political
yeah,
nonsense going on in this
yeah.
country and everything else. So.
you won't be putting CNN on in the background then when
Yeah, for sure. No CNN.
Oh, I'm like a
I
podcast guy. Then it's like if I can get the right like news bit at a sprint, it really helps sometimes. Just anger smash the hell out
Anger
of those
just yeah.
pedals.
Channel the inner 17-year-old. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the thing I draw out from our kind of long rambly chat is that I think the two biggest mistakes people who race on Zwift at a variety of levels make are not eating or fueling right.
Mhm.
So in some cases, eating the wrong things and you're a bit heavy and you could be lighter. In some cases, it's not eating the right things that refuel your body and allow you to recover well. And I think the other thing is just racing and resting. So
Yeah.
like it's doing too many races or it's not doing a recovery race week or things like that, or it's just doing the same type of race. If
Yeah.
you just do the type of race every week, you'll hit a plateau. So maybe the next week, like pick some races that are climbs, the long 20-minute efforts, or intervals, or a
Hmm.
short race,
Hmm.
or really races.
Yeah,
Um,
I've said this before. The Omnium definitely taught me I need to start racing ITTs more
yeah,
because
I
man,
I got really I got really fit, John, doing the Stampede on a Monday, which is a threshold session,
yeah.
the Bulls Wednesday, which is an interval session, and then Herd Winter Racing or Herd Summer Racing at the weekend. Oh, sorry, TTT, which is a bit of an over-under session, and
Yeah.
then Winter Racing at the weekend, which is just sort of felt like it's what it's going to be.
Hmm.
And those were good.
Hmm.
I think I reached a plateau because I probably the same as you actually. I wasn't doing enough active recovery at that point. So
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's for intense intense days, and yeah, sometimes yeah, sometimes you over race. Try I try to limit yeah, see what I'm racing. Usually it's ladder. It's been ladder. Maybe that's gonna switch and doing one race during the week and maybe HBWR in the weekend and plan around that. Because yeah, also needs a recovery day, rest days in between, like two rest days a week, not being on the bike, doing something up. I usually now do it that I try to go for longer walks, or longer, like an hour or something. Still keeps you active, but off the bike or doing something else.
Yeah. For sure.
Good.
I'll do one quick advert for Herd Events. Mention on Sean's long doubling up things. I have in the past doubled up with the Herd Endurance Sunday ride, which starts at
Uh,
1 a.m. on a Sunday into the Herd Winter Racing, which is can be about 3.5 hours on the bike, but you get a 2 hour long ride at a steady pace, a little break, and then a race. So yeah, it's a good set to do.
It's a good warm up.
Hey, yeah, I've done endurance rides outdoors for 2 hours. I think for HBR race one, the Sunday morning or Sunday late morning, and then do the race seven at 4:30 p.m. My time in the afternoon, and that went well. So
Well, thanks everybody. Appreciate
Good.
the advice.
I
yeah,
think on that note, we will say thank you to Steve Pritchard. Thank you to John Keenan. Thank you to Steph Jen. Thank you to Sean Fogenberg. Thank you to everybody listening to this podcast at home. Thank you to everyone coming out to do herd races on the weekend. Enjoy your weekend and your races, everybody. Moo and good night.